It's closed. Okay. Let's open that up again. Oh, there you are. Let's go ahead and... Oh, that's me. I was like, I'm even hearing a really strong echo. I was like, who's that talking? That must be... And it's a very low...
Darkness and the light. My spirit soared through the clouds of twilight. I saw the forest and I saw the streams. Below my feet, the earth above, angelic gleams crossing over. I'm
Welcome to Mystic Moon Cafe Radio.
All right, and you're with Mystic Moon Cafe now, and this is Wendy, and I've got June here, and you were listening to Dash Beardsley's original songs of Crossing Over, and I'm going to do that again, San Leon.
You don't have those memorized, Wendy. No, I'm just
No,
kidding.
Yeah,
I do not.
I have
yeah.
memorized. I don't memorize my own lyrics very much, but I do
That's
memorize those.
impressive.
Very impressive.
Yeah.
Well, if you don't know,
Yeah.
we do have Dash with us right now, and my name is June. And, well, Wendy, actually, why don't we just find out how your week's been?
Well, it's been a week. Last night
I'm glad.
Yeah, we had a tornado that came within about 5 miles of the house, and it wiped out Linwood, Kansas, which is right over by the Kansas Speedway racetrack, the NASCAR racetrack.
Wow.
And it was a mile wide, F5.
Holy crap.
Yep. I didn't hear of any deaths. There were some injuries, but everybody knew it was coming. There was good coverage on it.
Oh, well, that's good,
we
at
were
least.
fine, though. Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I tell you, I have to say that is one thing I don't really miss that much about Missouri. I mean, we still get tornadoes out in Washington every once in a while, but, you know, it's
We get hurricanes
pretty
here,
rare.
you know.
Yeah, you sure do.
Yeah.
It's like,
They're
you
serious.
sure do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just, yeah, that's one thing I have to say that I don't miss about Missouri. But it is kind of funny. Remember, last year about this time I went down to visit my cousin that lives about 30 miles from St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
And the very first night I stayed with her, and of course she lives in a trailer, which is even better because the very first night I stayed with her, that's when they had tornado warning, and a tornado had touched down about a mile away.
Well, of course.
And,
Mm-hmm.
and then we were going down. They had this little makeshift kind of basement that we were all hunkered down in, and then the water started pouring in and flooding us, and I was just like, well, I guess I'm going to die in Missouri anyway. I moved away, and now this is where I'm going to die.
Well, you know
Great.
that one character from Cars, Tom Mater, you know, he said, "I'm happier than a tornado in a trailer park."
Yep, exactly. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But oh yeah, I just and we had an awesome investigation this weekend. It went really well. It was in an old antique store, and she has a bordello museum up above. So we had an investigation there, and it was very interesting. We also did a bookstore there too.
Mm-hmm.
And we had some interesting things there. But I think the bookstore is more residual, where it's almost like a record player that keeps playing over and over and over. So I don't know. But the bordello, we had some interesting hits. So I'm hoping... I'm hoping when I finish going through all the audio and video and finish looking at all the pictures I took, that we might have something else there. So very excited about that. But so that was fun. And this Saturday night, we have, there is a building we used to investigate a few times, and we just found out they're going to tear it down. And so they asked us to investigate it once more before they tear it down. So really sad, too. This was built in the 1920s. Beautiful architecture. It's a very sound building. But, of course, I hear the Amazon's coming in and going to rip it down. So...
those buttheads.
No class.
They are buttheads. I agree.
Exactly. But the sad part of it is I probably keep them in business quite a bit. So.
Well, guys, we all do.
Yeah, I can't complain too much about them because it's just like, oh God. But I need that.
When they delivered something I had to have for the dogs, they delivered it on Easter Day, and I went, really?
Wow.
I wasn't sure if it was impressive or just kind of, rat bastardy. I wasn't sure.
I understand. Oh, well, anyway.
Probably rat bastardy.
Yeah, I think
most likely, yep.
Well,
yeah.
Tonight we're going to have a really cool show. We have a awesome guest, and I guess we can go in here and read his bio
Sure.
while he blushes in the background.
Profusely, undoubtedly.
Oh, no.
Would you like to start, June, or do you want me to start?
I can start.
Okay.
We have Dash Beardsley with us. He is with Ghost Tours of Galveston, and it was founded in 1999. Dubbed the Ghost Man of Galveston, this is what Dash is considered Galveston's premier paranormal expert. Dash has been featured in a variety of television shows and magazine articles, including Texas Monthly, Disney Travel and Events, The Disney Family, The Associated Press, and many others.
What began as a hobby quickly blossomed into what would become Galveston's original and most popular ghost tour experience. Dash's passion for the supernatural, coupled with his unique knowledge of the history of Galveston area, led him to create a number of tours designed to pique the interests of even the most casual ghost adventurer. Dash Beardsley's Ghost Tours of Galveston has been recognized as the #1 ghost tour in America by a third-party review site.
Awesome. Dash has spent his entire life exploring Galveston and uncovering all of its hidden secrets. Dash's tours have been called enriching, a trip to church while visiting the strange, an unveiling of the lesser-known history with an air of humor, and one of the most historically enlightening and educational tours of Galveston Island.
Dash is currently working on his new book titled The Ghost Man of Galveston. The book delves into the deeper mysteries and history of Galveston, as well as the author's life.
And Ghost Tours of Galveston Island. Get ready for a ghost tour like no other. Prepare for a walking tour and to learn the rich history of Galveston Island. Stories infused with thoroughly researched historical evidence and personal accounts of the supernatural from local residents. No Halloween costumes or cheap tricks. This is the real thing. Our attention to detail makes the supernatural experiences of our guests much more intense, while providing a context to the story and a glimpse into the past where these restless spirits once walked.
Welcome,
So awesome.
Dash.
Yes, welcome, Dash. Thank you for being with us
Thank
tonight.
you. Thank you so much for that introduction. God, that was a great introduction. Thank you so much for that.
You're welcome. Well, we're just so happy to have you. I just have to say, you know, I haven't had a lot of time to look up a lot of things that you have done and everything like this. Thank goodness for Wendy. She is awesome, you know, about that. But I did decide to just kind of go on YouTube and learn a little bit about Galveston. And I have to honestly say, I didn't know anything about Galveston, and now I really want to go there.
Where are y'all, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm in Seattle. I'm in Seattle, Washington.
Seattle, Washington. Okay.
Yep. And I'm in Kansas City, Missouri.
And she's in Kansas City. Yeah.
Okay. I've been to both places at least once. At least one
awesome.
time.
Yeah, Wendy and I actually went to school together in Kansas City a couple years ago when we were in high school.
Right.
Oh,
Isn't
really?
our 5-year reunion coming up?
Yes,
Something like
I think
that?
our 5-year reunion. Oh my God, how I wish.
Lightning's gonna strike.
But
Now, Jacob in the chat room is already asking. He said, Dash, we don't know much about haunted Galveston on the West Coast. What makes Galveston so haunted?
Well, I think it's because of energy. Because there's so much energy around the island. There's water, which conducts energy.
Mm-hmm.
And plus, not only that, but Galveston also has, if you follow the equator, you know, around the, what do they call it?
I want to say Prime Meridian, but I know that's not right.
Yeah, but it's right where the pyramids are. Where the pyramids are in Egypt. So
you mean some kind of ley lines or things like that?
Yeah, ley lines.
Mm-hmm.
You could say that. It's right where the pyramids are in Egypt. And so that's two of the things that make it very haunted.
Oh, awesome. Well, do you want to go ahead and enlighten our audience with, like, maybe the history of Galveston first? Because I know it has a pretty horrific history.
Okay.
That's for sure.
Okay. I'll be glad to. Well, let me see. The first parts of history are in my tour, which you can learn.
Right.
You can get this in the tour. But what it is there's a 100-year period that just about set all the stages for the Galveston hauntings. And what I'm saying is this 100-year period, well, it started with the Karankawan Indians. You might know who they are. They were around for years, but anyway. But they were around since the 1500s, I think. But anyway, yeah, a long time. So the Karankawan Indians had a rather unhealthy appetite. They would say, come over here to our party and sit down right here. They'd sit you down right there, and they'd tie your arms behind your back, and then they would start what I call a Karankawan Indian barbecue, where just a few feet away, a bonfire would rise, and then grab hold of their knives, come over to you, cut off a piece of your body, put it on the end of the knife, and continue their dance.
Wow.
As you got to watch yourself being eaten a long, slow, painful, pitiful, horrible death.
That's
and then there was
sad.
Jean Lafitte that got there in 1817. He got there in 1817, and he changed history there because he built the very first township of Galveston there. And
that name sounds really familiar too, I think.
Jean Lafitte.
Oh,
yeah, he was in New Orleans before he was in Galveston.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why he sounds familiar to you. But he was a pirate anyway, and it's not Jack Sparrow.
Okay. Yes, please.
but it's Jean Lafitte, and Jean Lafitte actually he came and he built the very first township of Galveston, which was built in 1817, and that was a place that was not used to that kind of thing. So they became a city later on in 1842. But they became the very first township of Galveston in 1817. So that means that he changed history there. Then he went away, and we don't know what happened to him after that. And then there was the fires that took place in the town, in the city. There was 25 years of random mysterious fires, and there was a civil war that took place, and there was the Battle of Galveston, which happened in 1863, and the Civil War took place in 1861, I guess, and then there was the Great Storm of Galveston. And a lot of people don't know about that storm. But let me tell you about it. Let me tell you a little bit about it. Okay. The storm was, how do I tell you about it without telling you about it? I'm trying to think of a way to tell you without sounding like I'm on my tour.
That's okay.
Let me tell you anyway. To make a long story short, they didn't know that the storm was there. They didn't know that the storm was there until it was too late to do anything about it. So by 4 p.m., a distress signal was sent via telegraph to the mainland as 200 passengers rushed to the mainland to try to make their way in a locomotive. They didn't see the piece of bridge that had been taken out, so 198 people went to their deaths. 2 people managed to swim through and go toward the only thing they could see, which was the Bolivar Lighthouse way over there. And the story goes that they lived to tell about the Great Storm. Anyway, go ahead.
Wow.
You want me to go ahead?
Oh,
I
sure.
can go ahead if you want.
You go right ahead.
Then there was the Great Storm, and then there was the mafiosos that came around in 1915 or so, and their influence on the island was great. It was really great, and they. There are a lot of people that are living today that say that the island was better when they were there, but I don't know. I don't know about that. Because,
They probably kept law and kept everything organized.
Yeah, they did. They kept things like they were supposed to be, I think.
Yeah.
But anyway, and it goes on. But I could tell you more, but I won't.
Okay, that's fair. We just know it had a very tragic past, and for such a small, you should say, small island, a lot of paranormal activity is there, from what I hear.
Yeah, there is a lot. I've been on several ghost investigations there. I'm going to do another one called the Are We Haunted tour. It's a ghost hunt. And it's June 15th, and I'm going to do it at Prohibition Reds.
Oh, fun!
So it's going to be a great thing, I think. Anyway.
Now,
anyway.
Go ahead, please. No, please.
No, you go ahead.
Oh,
go ahead.
Well, it popped into my head that you were going to do this investigation at the Prohibition place. But are you going to ever do Wake the Dead paranormal conferences?
I don't know. I might do it next year. I may do it next year. Just to take the naysayers. But I didn't get a lot of help from a lot of people, so I was trying to.
I understand that.
Yeah, I know.
We have done so many. We have done so many different things, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, that sounds so awesome! I can't wait to help." And then there's crickets when it's time to help. Yeah.
Yeah.
Believe me. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, they didn't contribute a lot of money and stuff. So I'm just waiting for them to come around.
And to say, hey, let's try this again. This time, here's
something. It's like people that don't exist there recognize me, and they like you guys. You guys recognize that I've made a mark there.
Yeah.
And people don't realize it a lot of times. They just want to go with it's a tourist city,
Right.
Tourist city. So they want to go with what's the healthiest thing they can go for, they think. so they don't realize that my ghost tour is a well-researched and well-documented thing.
Well, it sounds like it. Yeah,
it is. It is.
It's pretty awesome.
Go ahead.
Hey, I was just wondering, are you have you been part of a group or like a paranormal group, or are you just kind of like a freelance group that people just kind of invite you?
I'm more or less freelance.
Okay, that's what I was just wondering. Which is kind of nice.
It
don't
really
have to deal with a lot of,
in some ways, but in some ways it's not nice. I think I have a lot of respect for paranormal groups, different ones, and there's different ones in America, and I have a lot of respect for those guys because they're changing the world, and that's all I wanted to do when I started this thing, was change the world a little bit,
right.
Make it more interesting and make it a better place. And go ahead, you were going to say?
Are you hearing ghosts?
Maybe. I don't know.
We get haunted every now and again. So.
Yeah, every once in a while. You never know.
Well, this house I'm in, it's a little haunted. It's got an old lady that lives here. So.
Neat. Well, I was curious, being so close down to Mexico and South America and all that. Were there ever any raids or skirmishes between the Texans and the EVP live on radio? Yes, Jacob. Any skirmishes between the Texans and possibly the Mexicans or Indians even?
There's the Alamo. You know about that. You know about Goliad too, don't you?
Right.
Don't y'all learn that in history? I mean,
yes, we do. Believe it or not, we did. I don't think the kids today probably learn.
Well, probably not. But anyway, but Goliad was one, and there's another one called the Alamo, which you know about. And I
remember the Alamo. Sorry. Sorry. I just threw that on there.
That's good. Well, let me tell you. There's that new movie they've got out. Well, it's not new anymore, but it used to be new. It's got Billy Bob Thornton in it. It's pretty accurate. It's pretty good.
I don't think I saw it.
Yeah, it's got Billy Bob. It's called The Alamo. It's got Billy Bob Thornton playing Davy Crockett and Dennis Quaid playing.
Oh, that's right. Maybe I did see it. Now that you said that, I think I.
Yeah.
Anything with Dennis Quaid.
Yeah, very interesting stuff. But anyway, he makes a really good Sam Houston. Dennis Quaid does, and I think it's pretty accurate. Pretty accurate, not exactly accurate, but it's for a movie, it's really good. So I would say,
Cool.
Yeah. So anyway.
Well, I was just wondering too. I know that you tackle a lot of the haunted places in Galveston. Are there some places that you really, really wanted to get in, and the place is haunted, but the owners say, nope, we're not having any of the haunted stuff?
Yes, there are. There's many of them.
Yeah, I was wondering if you get into that a lot there.
Well, there's a place called the Nichols Building, and it's owned by I won't even say their name on the radio.
That's okay. You don't have to do
that. But it's a place. It's a place that's a very haunted place, and that is a place that has that's a real life Civil War hospital. You could say that. That's what it is, and so they won't let me in there. I wanted to spend the night there on Halloween night, and they won't let me in there.
Oh, man. I don't understand that. Like, this day and age, it's like there's so many places that if you give them a haunted, if you say they're haunted, people are going to flock to that place. And I don't think they understand it, except for some, you got some people that are like, no, I don't want to go in. I'm too scared. It's like, oh, my God.
Yeah. Yeah,
hey,
I know.
Some of us have heart issues.
Oh, that's true. That's true. But what a way to go. Awesome haunted place. If you go right there, you'll have friends right when you die. Come on.
Yeah, it can't be that bad.
No, definitely not.
I'm
Me too.
not really, but So, tell us, how many cemeteries are on Galveston Island?
There's 3 main cemeteries. There's 4 cemeteries actually, but there's 3 main cemeteries: the Calvary Cemetery on 61st, and the what is that one called? Oh, it's called the Old City Cemetery on that's on Broadway. And right across from the Calvary Cemetery is the damn it. I can remember it. I'll remember it in a minute.
That's okay.
But I gotta tell you. If you go up 61st to the seawall and you turn right there, and you go to the it's a famous restaurant. I can't think of the name of it. But anyway, if you go right there, and you will see the Old City Cemetery. You will see an old plaque that says that it's an old Negro cemetery, and you can see the sinkholes in it where they used to sit. Yeah, you can see the sinkholes in it. And they're saving it because I think they're going to do something with it eventually. But I don't know what they're going to do with it.
Kind of make it.
But that's the cemeteries that are there. That's the cemeteries
Do they have markers on the that cemetery?
Yes, they have markers. They have some old. It's an old 1906 cemetery. It's an old cemetery. It's not the Old City Cemetery. I said that, but I meant it's called something else. Rosedale Cemetery or something like that.
Do you know what the oldest cemetery? Do you know what the oldest grave is in the cemetery? Is it how far it dates back?
It's in the Old City Cemetery. That's the oldest cemetery, and the oldest grave there are from the are from the pre-Civil War things.
That's what I was wondering if it's like in the 1830s or 1840s.
Yeah.
Or... Oh, awesome.
It's about 1840s. Yeah, I think. Yeah.
Very neat. Now, do your tours go through the cemeteries?
I have one that does. It's called the Secret Society Cemetery Tour.
Ooh.
And it's called the Secret Society because it's about the history of the dead that lie in the Old City Cemetery.
Oh,
it's
cool.
not because it's a secret society
like the Masons or the Odd Fellows.
No,
Yeah.
no, it's nothing like that. But it's just
cool.
it's just people that are less talked about, you know. And so I call it the Secret Society Cemetery Tour. And it's about the history of the dead that lie in the Old City Cemetery.
Wow, that is pretty fascinating. I tell you, the more I hear about it, the more I really want to go to Galveston now.
Yeah.
But before I say this, it's like what's the weather like there? Like in the summertime, isn't it about 100 degrees with 90% humidity?
Yeah, it's pretty hot. It's pretty hot.
Just
I
thought
still wear my duster. I still wear my black duster, but it's really hot.
So for
really
people
hot.
like me that hardly like to even go out in the sun, probably the winter time in Galveston would be the best time to visit.
Yes, probably be the best time. Yeah.
But
Yes,
people who love the sun.
It'd be more
anytime.
advantageous to you.
It's pretty sad. Really sad. And
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
Well, it'd be more advantageous to you, and it would be a lot cooler than the. Last year it didn't get cool until really cool until December 31st, I think it was.
Oh, really?
Not last year, the year before. I'm sorry, the year before.
Wow.
Year before last.
Well, my birthday is December 6th, so maybe I can think about doing running down there, around that time.
You should do that.
That would be really, really neat.
Yeah.
Oh my! So what is one of your most favorite haunted places?
My most favorite haunted place is probably the. Boy, that's a tough one.
One of your most. We'll just throw it.
It was the face on the UTMB wall, which you can find if you look at it. But you can see a picture of it if you want. But I generally mention it on the tour, and it's one of the places that I think it's one of the secrets that I know about Galveston that I don't tell very much. But I'll tell you.
Please
There's an old man, and there's an old man that owned the land there,
Mm-hmm.
and it was before the building was put there in the 1960s and 70s, 72 to be exact, before the building was put there. But he supposedly said to his kids, "If you sell this land, I'll make your life miserable. I'll make it miserable for the people that get that land." And they sold it anyway. And he died in 1972 when the building was being constructed. He died. And then a face appeared on the side of the building, but it wasn't where it supposedly is now. Supposedly it was up in the darkest tilt wall. Those are called tilt walls. Those square things. If you're looking at the picture, you can see it.
Oh, definitely have to check that out.
Anyway,
Sounds cool.
But if you go down that tilt wall, you go down from the black picture to the where the face is now, you'll see right there that is a place where the face was, they say. And two student nurses looked at it in 1992, and they one of them died as a result of I don't know if they were looking at it and they died, but anyway. But one of them died. Yeah. Anyway, their car rolled back into the water, and then one of them died. But so they let the face exist, and the next place it's going to go is in the door. So it's very interesting.
Oh, wow.
To say the least.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to check it out. I'm sure Jacob's probably looking for it now.
Most likely, yes.
Probably is. Just tell him to look up the face. It's called the Face in Galveston.
The Face in Galveston.
Yeah.
Now, yeah, Denise is saying that October's really good to go down to Galveston because the sand dollars are everywhere.
Well, yeah, that's a good place to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is. And there's a lot of there's a ghost tour. There's ghost tours, but my ghost tour is the best. It's really the best one there. So you'll have to check it out.
Oh, definitely. Well, that sounds like so much fun. But so I guess one of the things too. It's like, what is like your more, I guess, interesting, memorable tours that you've led?
I led the Property Brothers about a year ago, I guess.
Oh, how
Property
fun.
Brothers. Yeah, that was fun. That was an interesting tour. About 2 years ago. It's been about 2 years.
Were they cut ups or were they pretty low key?
Yeah, man, it was Drew and his wife, his wife to be, his wife to be at the time. So he was a real cut up, and so was she. She was really fun. So they tried to do that, and they were really having a good time with it. Seemed like so. Anyway, go ahead. What else you want to ask me?
It's like I was thinking, are you hearing voices again? Because it must be the ghosts.
It must be.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of help out with Spooked in Seattle ghost tours out here in Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
So anytime you come up here, you just let me know if you ever decide to visit Seattle again. We'll give you a special tour.
Thank you. I'll do that. I'll come. I've been up there. I've seen the Tunnels tour, and that's with a young lady that I forget her name now, but it's been so long. But the Tunnels tour was good, and then we went on we went to London, and we went to a bunch of places. It was very interesting.
Yeah, they're totally redoing the waterfront out here, and they're tearing down the old viaduct, so it's going to be all open, and it's really going to be beautiful from the plans I've seen.
Oh, really?
So maybe it'll look a little bit like Galveston. It's like, because I've seen, the boardwalk, is it called the boardwalk there? But it's really beautiful down there. So
yeah, it is. It's beautiful.
I do have to say, I was really surprised about it, because I was just like, I haven't really heard much about Galveston. I started looking at some of the videos, and I was like, wow, this is a beautiful city, and a lot of good things too. I heard a lot of different reviews about your tour, and everybody loves it. So
yeah,
all your tours.
That's good. That's what they like it. Glad they like it. That's what I put it out there for. So that people would like it, and so that it would change the world a little bit.
That's awesome.
So
what are the different tours that you have?
I have the Secret Society Cemetery Tour.
Right. Oh, cool.
The Restless Spirits Tour, which is a sequel to the original Ghost Tour of the Strand. And then I have the Jack the Ripper Tour. That's dealing with a theory that Jack the Ripper was actually on Galveston Island. And I don't know if this is true, but I'm one of 1,000 that think he knows who Jack the Ripper is.
Can you tell us the story a little bit, why you think it was him? Or
Yeah, I can tell you a little bit.
Okay.
I think Jack the Ripper was James Kelly, to be honest. I think he was, because he was a paranoid schizophrenic. And he had different. How do I say it? Let me think of a better way to say it. He had a wife that he had married. A wife that he had married. Yes, that's good.
We understand.
But he had a wife, and he married her, and it was he was living in a kind of a not real nice place, but anyway, it was where her father lived and where she lived. And then he killed her.
Oh, wow.
And then the murders started happening in London, you know. And then he went to Broadmoor Asylum, which was on the outskirts of London. And he designed a key from a thing that one of the guards was wearing. It was just he designed a key that let him out. So he got out, and he went and he committed the murders. He committed 3 of the murders, and there was actually 8 murders, I believe. But he committed 3 of the murders right there. They were the first murders. He committed, and then he committed the 5 murders that happened in Galveston, in London. Then he escaped and went to Paris, France. Then from Paris, France, he went to New York City. He got in as James Miller, I believe. He got in as James Miller, and he began to kill people in New York. He killed 4 prostitutes there. Then he killed 4 in Austin, Texas, I think. And then he came to Galveston for only one day. He was staying in Dallas, but he came to Galveston for only one day. And that's where he committed. Melinda Milling was the lady he killed.
Wow.
So that's how it happened. That is
pretty fascinating. Well, especially when you hear that, things, stopped in London and they couldn't find any hide or hair of him. It's like he either died, he was either captured, or he moved away.
Yeah. But
Mm-hmm.
but serial killers don't usually stop killing. They don't stop that.
No, they don't.
Kill. And this is just treated as another serial killer, because that's what he was. Even though he's a quintessential evil guy and all that stuff, he was a serial killer, and I think he was. And he and that's the way it was looked up. That's the way it was found, as a serial killer.
Wow.
Okay.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. That's really interesting. I really didn't have any idea at all.
Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like you did your research. So that
yes,
is.
ma'am, I did. I did do my research, because I wasn't going to lie to people. I think New Orleans has a saying that never let the truth get in the way of a good story. But I have a saying, and it's truth is stranger than fiction, because it is stranger. And so I have a saying about that. Truth is stranger than fiction. I believe that.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, our buddy Jacob, he's in the chat room, and he's saying, yeah, James Kelly is listed as a patient at Broadmoor.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Yeah. Yeah.
I definitely would like to. Jacob also mentioned about going to the asylum.
There. What's his name? What's his name again? The guy in the chat room?
Oh, Jacob? Jacob Rice.
Yeah. Jacob.
Mm-hmm.
Well, tell Jacob, bear in mind that I'm just one of 1,000 people that think they know who Jack the Ripper is. So, there's a lot of theories out there about who Jack the Ripper is.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I have a pretty good handle on it. And I think I'm pretty good at that, finding that stuff. So, just saying.
On any of the investigations that you have been on, have you gotten some evidence that just kind of blew your socks off?
I never have.
I was wondering.
I just believe that ghosts exist because I never have gotten that evidence that they absolutely exist. I never have gotten that. But I believe that they exist because of things that have happened to me in my past. And what I'm talking about is just things that have happened to me, such as, let me think. Well, I believe that they exist because there are things that took place in my life that took place that made them real to me. They have to be real to you for you to know they exist.
Right.
And I don't use science or any of that stuff. Very, very seldom. I have Ghost Radar on my phone, but I don't use it very. I only use my spirit and what's in me. That's what I use mostly. Okay, so.
Yeah. The Ghost Radar.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't put a lot of clout in the Ghost Radar. It would be awesome though if all of a sudden you turn on the Ghost Radar and it says, "Oh, there's a spirit right next to me! Yay!"
Yeah, just like Ghost Observer. That's another one that's crappy that doesn't have a really. Ghost Observer is another one that doesn't really do it for me.
Yeah,
but I have Ghost Radar.
We're not big fans of all the ghost apps or the Ovilus or the Spirit Box.
You're not.
We just a lot of it's so suggestive. Not saying that I haven't gotten anything, because there have been some times I've gotten some things I can't explain. That I think that was a DVP, a direct voice phenomenon, coming over the white noise. So I've had a full sentence saying, "Save us from the fire." And on Spirit Box. So, I believe that they can be beneficial at times, but on the most part, I just believe that they are so, suggestive that you can just pick out anything you want out of those. But it's like sometimes you can be surprised. But like I said, I don't.
I had a thing called the Inner Christmas Spirits, and in this place, this was where a nurse was, and a nurse brought in many dead people and many of the sick that were sick from almost drowning and stuff out in the great storm. And anyway, to ring Ghost Radar's bell a little bit, I'll say this. That there were about 50 names on there. Just names of people. There were about 50 names on there. And they're just names of people that she must have worked on. I'm just thinking, maybe.
You never know.
Could be. Anyway.
Right.
But it's just odd that they had names on there.
That's fascinating. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's one of those things. It's like sometimes I do, kind of poo-poo a lot of these things, but every once in a while something comes through that you just can't explain. I try to keep I have a very skeptical mind when it comes to a lot of things, but I try to keep that little crack in there that just says, "Okay, now June, there's nothing that can explain that. You got to let it in." So.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
you gotta let it in.
So, what about your? I hear you guys kind of have your own little Bigfoot down there. Your kind of Bigfoot tradition down there. What about that Bigfoot?
Well, that's not really my field of expertise, but I'll tell you a little bit about it. There's a thing called a Bigfoot that's just outside of Houston here, and I'm in Lamar. That's where I'm talking to you from right now, Lamar, Texas, which is just on the outskirts between Houston and Galveston. But anyway, right there, it says that this thing is very much a part of what's going on. Yeah. So I'm not giving you. I don't have. That's not really my field of expertise, but it's okay.
Well, isn't it called the Galveston Sandman?
Yeah, it's called that. It's called that. But I think that thing is made up. I think.
Okay. Like the skunk ape in Florida, but I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. The skunk ape seems real. It
does. There's a lot of stories about that too. So.
Yeah. Well, like the Devil Dog and stuff like that. I know the guy that made those. Those are just stories. They're just stories, and I don't want to make any stories up. I don't want to say anything is not true because it's got to be true to be in my tour.
That's right. Well, it's like Spooked in Seattle. That's one of the things, it's like they, hear some rumors about a place, and then all of a sudden he starts delving a little bit further into these rumors about the hauntings and find out that, somebody just kind of made up the stories to make it, a little more, exciting. And they're like, we can't put those on the tour because, we found out it's
baloney.
Yeah, it's disappointing.
And we get a lot of those down from the other tours mostly. We get a lot of those from mostly the other tours and from shit like that. Excuse my language.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, we're all right. We're not too tight about that here.
Okay, good.
We have the PG-13 rating.
I'm sorry, it just slipped out.
So, what is that noise? It kind of sounds like a vacuum cleaner.
I don't know what that is.
I have absolutely no idea. Yeah.
I was just curious. I was like wondering if they can hear it on the.
Maybe they can hear it on the ghost.
Yeah,
on the ghost. Maybe they can hear that.
I was thinking it sounded like somebody playing the jug, doing the blow across the jug.
That's true. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, it does.
So, I think I read something about the Houston Batman, which might have been kind of similar to a Mothman or something.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes, that happened in 1947, I believe it was. In the Texas City place. That's before they had the explosion, and they saw the Mothman there. So Mothman has always been the bringer of death.
Oh, wow.
And so that's why I say,
So it was
they saw him there.
Same kind of descriptions and everything.
Yes,
they did in Point Pleasant. Wow.
Yes. It's supposed to be him.
That is pretty fascinating.
Supposed to be him. Yeah,
I'm kind of a closet Mothman fan. I mean, I like to read a lot of the stories and hear a lot of the documentaries, so it's very interesting. Fascinating.
Yeah, it is. It is interesting. But anyway, he was here around 1947, I believe it was. And that's the last time I think he was seen. That's the last time. But that was before the smoking caused the explosions and stuff, So it wasn't that good, but it happened. So
oh, wow.
It was okay, I guess.
So how did you kind of learn about the paranormal and everything? I mean, kind of. How did you kind of start off with the paranormal?
My dad died when I was 7, so I want to know where he went. Yeah, so I want to know where he went. So I looked into it, and then I had a lot of death and things that happened to me in life, and that's going to be in my book. If I ever finish it, I've got to get it done. But anyway. I'm gonna get it done for long because I have to get it done.
Awesome.
But anyway, but that is a thing that very much
kind of molded your
part of. Yeah, that's been a part of what's made me interested in it. I've always been interested in it ever since I was little.
I've heard a lot of stories from a lot of different paranormal investigators and people who are fascinated with the paranormal that when they were very young, someone, extremely close to them passed away. And my grandfather died in front of me when I was 5 years old with a heart attack. And and then, not too long after that, I saw my puppy get run over by a motorcycle. So, it's
wow.
it's one of, that's why I'm a little screwed up now, I guess. But I think that is one of the reasons I am so fascinated with the paranormal. After that, I wanted to watch everything about ghosts and everything I could find and read every book I could find. So, I think that is really true. It's just like, where did they go? What really happened? Trying to find a church even. It's like trying to, make sense, but,
Yeah. Well, that's another thing is I don't think that ghosts are necessarily evil.
No,
I think that there are ghosts that mimic people and that mimic spirits and things, but I think that they're not necessarily evil, and I think that ghosts are very much a part of Christianity because I'm a mystic Christian myself. That's what I'm, mystic Christianity. If you want to look it up, you can. But anyway, it just believes the same thing that Christians believe, except it believes in more or less spells. Because spells are just like prayer; they're moving something. They're moving. They're moving something. So I'll tell you. What was the question again? I forgot it.
Oh.
What was the question?
I think we were just kind of talking about, losing someone when we were small and just trying to find answers, basically.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. Well. Anyway, that's how it happened to me, pretty much.
Hang on, kids.
And,
kids. Hang on.
Okay.
Guess what? Guess who joined us?
Woohoo! Is it Brian?
It's Brian.
Hello.
Hi, Brian. Hi, Brian.
How's it going? What are you talking about?
How's things in Galveston?
Did we already lose him?
Oh, I don't know.
You're breaking up.
Uh-oh.
No, you're breaking up.
I know. We're all breaking up. Let's just break up. Let's call the whole thing off. No, okay. Can you hear me okay? Or am I breaking up?
You sound good now.
Okay.
Okay, I think I was in front of the AC vent.
How's things in Galveston?
Hell, you should know. Everything's just fine. Had a good rehearsal, a lot of singing.
I was there yesterday.
Stuff.
I'm only 20 minutes from there, maybe at best. But I found out the rent's a lot cheaper over here, so I came over here.
That's kind of worth the drive.
Yeah, it is. It is worth the drive, I guess.
So how do you and Brian know each other?
Well, Brian used to work for me.
Ooh,
He used to work for
awesome.
me. Yeah, he was. I'm sorry to tell you that. I hate to say that, but he's making a career all on his, making a career all his own, and he used to do a tour guide thing, for me, and Can we hear him? Is that him making that racket?
I don't know. I think it's aliens.
Okay.
I saw an ad. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, you're good.
Yeah.
Okay, I saw an ad in the paper or something asking for tour guides. That was ghost tour guides. And I said, oh, man, this is right up my alley. I've been to Galveston when I was a kid and went by the haunted homes and took photos and stuff like that. So when I called Dash, I think we had a 4-hour conversation,
Oh, cool.
and it was just great. And he hired me on as a tour guide, and it was just a blast. It was a blast. I did it for about 4 or 5 years, and now I just do some PR stuff for him, social networks and advertising and stuff.
Yeah.
But Dash is great. He's always
Thank
been
you,
great.
man. Thank you so much for that.
Well, why
I
don't we
appreciate
why
that.
don't we say a little something about Brian now? We read Dash's bio, so why don't we say a little bit about Brian? I could read a little bit from his bio here.
Go ahead.
It says, Brian Treybig is an actor, writer, musician, public speaker, and boat fixer-upper. Brian has portrayed many characters on stage, such as Renfield in Dracula, Leo Bloom in Mel Brooks, The Producers, the lead in Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, I wonder which one he played, and his favorite, Sherlock Holmes. On the music side, he has played for many bands and is always writing original music in his personal studio. Hosting Dash Beardsley's Ghost Tours of Galveston for over 4 years. Brian has developed his ability as a public speaker, catering to over 100 people in a single night. This work on the tours has led him to create and host the show Simplicity Radio, which has brought in over 20,000 listeners worldwide and celebrity guests, psychic readings, and insightful topics. He lives on a boat with his beautiful wife, Christina, and 2 dog children, Milo and Summer. So welcome officially, Brian.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah.
I remember when you used to call in with Todd and I's radio show a long time ago.
Oh gosh, yeah. Man, that was a good run. I'll tell you that.
It's like, how long has it been? About 7 years ago, I think now.
Gosh, really? Dang. Well, what happens is, I do the radio show when I'm single. So when I'm taken, I'm sorry, the show's off.
Just a little busy. I understand.
Yeah. Well, when she gets home from work, it's the only time we have, so I can't take away from that.
That's true.
There's plenty of shows to listen to in the archives.
That's true.
Yeah.
Great shows.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me on. Right now, I'm doing a production of Mamma Mia at the ETC Theater in Galveston.
Oh, fun. So what are you playing?
Yep. I'm playing Harry Bright, one of the fathers, the Colin Firth character in the movie.
Nice. Oh, how fun.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
That's really good.
I love the building, The Galveston buildings are just so old and haunted, and I just started just a few days now, and so I haven't got any secrets of that theater, of any ghostly stuff. I do know that the walls are all the old brick from the old construction, but I don't know any stories about that building. Dash, do you know anything about that theater?
Well, I know it's supposed to have ghosts in it. I know that. It's supposed to have there's all
theaters have ghosts, right?
I believe that.
But I mean, this particular theater has someone that sits up in the rooftop and sits in the chambers where the audience sits. They sit there and they do that. So I know that's all I know about it. I don't know a lot about it, but I just that's about all I know about it.
What's really horrible is that, first off, I'm going to tell you this. I believe in ghosts and spirits and a lot of paranormal activity, but I haven't seen anything. I've had things happen to me and things moving around, but I have not seen anything particular. So I'm at the Harbor Playhouse Theater in Dickinson, and a friend of mine, actor friend of mine, he says, listen, I know you do the ghost tours, but I don't believe in these ghosts, whatever, but I saw a ghost walk up the stairs.
I don't believe in it, but I saw one.
I don't believe in it. And I'm like, you asshole, how dare you? You see this, and you still don't believe, and you're going to tell me about it and just rub it in, right? So,
right.
But apparently, that theater, and then there was the theater that I do work in at the Clear Creek Community Theater. They have ghosts. And, people have stories.
I don't know what that is.
Ghosts are literally everywhere. They're all over the world, I think. They're all over the world.
Definitely.
Oh, yeah, but you said they're they're elemental. They're drawn to water, in a sense,
Yes.
right?
Yes, I think they're drawn to water, and I think they're drawn to anything paranormal. Anything that's not great. Okay, anything that has to do with the paranormal, or anything that has to do with people. I think that ghosts are simply people.
Right.
So,
People without bodies.
That's exactly what they are. That's exactly what they are. They deal with this thing. You know, they're trying their best to deal and make it. You know. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. I just think it's fascinating, and I want to do that a ghost hunt at that theater. And I'm going to talk to the theater director if we can do that. And what I want to do is make it to where half the proceeds go to the theater and then half to whatever else. But right now, the theater that I'm working at Clear Creek, there's, spoiler alert, something's going to happen, but I can't say anything. I can't say anything in case somebody's listening. But things are going to but I do want to do a ghost hunt there, and I'll let you know about that. Have you talked about the ghost hunt that we're doing soon, Dash?
Yeah, I've talked about it. I've talked about the Are We Haunted at the Prohibition Red. Yeah. That's what you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's happening pretty soon, right? In a few months.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And I've lowered the price on it to $30, so anybody can go. Just about.
Real nice. What date is that on? Or dates?
That's on June 15th. June 15th.
Coming right up then. Very nice.
Saturday. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that'll be a good thing. And it'll be...
What's the history on the Prohibition place?
The history of it is that there used to be a brothel. It was a brothel years ago.
See?
Oh, yeah.
The secret vault. The secret vault that says, Are We Haunted? The secret vault. It's talking about a place where the prostitutes used to hang out. And they say it's haunted. So I don't know.
Interesting.
So,
very interesting.
Oh, that sounds like a great place.
I sure did like all the buildings that we investigated before, Dash. Like the Ashton Villa, the Menard home, and the Samuel May Williams home. But going over to Seawolf Park on the battleship and the submarine was really cool.
Yeah, that was really good. That was good.
Is that one of your favorite places, Brian? The
I love the old Samuel May Williams building, house, built in 1839, But Seawolf Park, the battleship and submarine, that was a real treat, because living on a boat, that's just me, Oh,
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
How's your boat doing? How's your boat so far?
And that's where the submarine is. Submarine.
Yeah.
Where is it at?
The submarine. It's kind of on the outskirts of Galveston, more or less. It goes right by it's an island that's out. Pelican
It's north of Galveston.
Yeah, it's kind of on the. You have to be there. You have to see it. So it's on Pelican Island. Just ask for Pelican Island.
Pelican Island. Okay.
Yes.
Neat.
And
we're getting a lot of feedback.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah,
somebody is really blowing in that jug.
Is that me? Should I hang up and see if it's me?
I think it was happening before you called, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah, it was. It was.
We don't know if it's the storms between here and there or what exactly, but or the spirits.
Yeah.
The
Blowing
spirits of storms
jug
pass.
with their jug band. Trying to get in touch with us. This is south.
Denise in the chat was saying that she loves the Bishop's Palace.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Bishop's Palace.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Lucius Palace is a very interesting place, but they won't let me do anything there. They have a gag order on the place. I don't know why.
Yeah, that's one of those.
Yeah, it's
one of
I'm
those
sorry.
places.
Yeah, it's one of those places that I have to keep quiet about. I know the haunted history there, but I can't say it.
Can't say it.
Because there's too many ears listening, not be listening.
Yeah. It is a beautiful building. I was kind of looking at some of the places. It's just beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is beautiful. Yeah. And
Now, is there any place down there that
I don't know why they're that way, but they are that way.
Yeah, I understand. We have some like that too out here in Seattle.
Do you really?
Oh yeah.
Wow. That's hard to believe, man.
They're everywhere. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I just think they're being crazy because they're keeping business from the place.
Right.
By being that way.
Wow.
So they can do it if they want to, I guess.
Now, is there any place down there that you avoid because of bad energy or just it kind of freaks you out a little bit and you don't want to go there?
Well, yeah, I avoid the face. I avoid that place because I do it because I went there one time and I saw things I didn't want to see. I saw things, and then another psychic went there and she saw things she didn't want to see either, and she saw the same thing I did. So,
oh wow!
So that's why I try to avoid it. That's why I try to stay away from it.
Oh my God!
And I got followed home one night from the hospital, from the great the Nichols building. I got followed home one night, and
by the living or the dead?
I don't expect everybody to understand this, but I mean, I called on angels to help me out because they had a guy that was there that was big, and he was an extractor of information.
Oh,
so
wow.
he was trying to get with me. so
was that from the mafia days?
No, that was from the Civil War days.
Oh wow!
And he was trying to extract information from me, so I didn't let him. And I called on the angels, the Archangel Michael. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I called on him to
protect
get him out of there. To get him out of there because he was driving me crazy. That guy was. But that's the only two bad experiences I've had. And ghosts, anything.
Brian, what about you?
Gosh, there's no real spot that I find very harming, but you could just feel going over the causeway where you're going, and you could just feel that the island is full of spirits. But nothing has been horrible. And anything that's followed me home has been good. And but no, luckily, even from psychics, they say some have said that there's a little girl that was following you around and things like that. So nothing really bad, They're really happy that we're telling their stories.
That's
so
good.
That I think that's what protects us because we're telling their stories. I mean, hell, if I passed on and Dash were to talk about me after I passed on, in a tour every night, that's awesome.
That's true.
Yeah, that'd be good. That'd be good, man. I'll do that if you pass on before me. Okay.
Aw, that's so nice.
I've done it with my dog Harry. I've done it. Yeah, I put him in.
Oh yeah, dude. We'll both take care of each other either way.
Yeah, we will, man. Yeah.
And then we got to bother the people once we both pass on, and they're telling our story. We got to poke them if they get the story wrong.
Yeah,
that's a good idea. I didn't do that.
We got to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's one thing we always say in our group. We all need to make up some sort of, I'm not going to say a safe word, but let's say a paranormal word. So if the word comes over, this would be the word that we would give in an EVP so that they would know that it was us. there.
Yeah.
Houdini did to, his wife. So,
Wow.
'cause
Hey,
you never,
Lois, diarrhea. Oh, it's him.
They're great for-
That's not vomit.
oh no.
Oh, gosh.
Colonoscopy.
Yeah. colonoscopy. What the hell?
Yeah. Asking on the
Yeah. Yeah. That's
That would be
interesting.
great.
I'll tell you a really cool story, though, from Galveston during the tours. When I was doing the tours, I was actually dating one of the tour guides, and you know who this one is, Dash.
Yeah,
we don't need to
I
mention
know
her
she is, but I won't say
at all.
her name.
At all, we don't need to mention her. But here's the thing: she had a vision of a certain block in Galveston. I think it was 20th to the 21st on the Strand. It's a parking lot right now, but about how there used to be a building there. She had a vision. She said, "I seen a building there with these certain type of windows, and there's a guy who owns it, and he's like crippled or something like that." I said, "Okay, well, you had a vision. Let's go for it, and let's start with going into one of these shops." Historic Galveston books with pictures and everything. So we went through all the shops, and I went through the books, and I said, "Holy smokes. From this angle of this photo, there used to be a building there, and does it look like the windows that you're talking about?" She goes, "Yeah." I said, "Okay, we need to find out who owned this building and all that." So I go to the library, good old Rosenberg Library. I got a card. I'm a card-carrying library member there.
Yeah, me too.
I go to the top floor where all the old stuff is,
Yeah.
I go to the top floor.
Yeah.
And I say, "All right, look, I need to find out who owned this building. It existed within 100 years. Can you help me?"
Yeah.
And she's
That's great.
so sweet. The librarian was so sweet. She goes, "Oh, yeah, sure. Let's just figure this out together." Within 20 minutes, she comes back with the full deed to the old building and the name of the guy and all this stuff. And I'm like, "Holy wow." So I look up the guy, and we find pictures of the guy, and it's an old cripple.
Ah,
Wow.
It's like she was. And we also heard that he wasn't a very nice guy, and that there was like criminal stuff going on with children.
oh no.
And
Yeah.
and I don't know if you've heard about this, Dash, but I'm sure we've talked about it or whatnot.
I've heard
But,
about it. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Crazy stuff, but through a vision and through just a little bit of investigating, we found out something cool. But I just thought that was fascinating.
Yeah, it is. It is very fascinating. It's at 20th and where? Where's it a parking lot now?
It's
It's
Henry
a parking
Row.
lot?
It's Henry Row, man. It's that. It's the northwest side of the block.
Okay, it's 20th and 21st, or 20th and
20th and Strand. Oh no, 21st and Strand. Sorry.
21st and Strand. I know what you're talking about. I knew that guy was at the other building at 20. What is that street called? It's called Ships Mechanic Row. Yeah, Ships Mechanic Row. And right there, I knew he was over there, but I didn't know he was over at the other place. I didn't even know about that. So I knew he was at the one at the building that's there now. But it's going to be torn down soon because it's just falling to pieces anyway. I'm sure.
Man, I think
sad.
a great story on the ghost tours. I know Dash doesn't like to give stories away because he wants to book the tour.
What is it? What is it? What is it? Tell me.
But Colonel Bubby's, man. Colonel Bubby's, there's some bad stuff that happened.
You tell that story. Go ahead.
Are you
So
serious?
that's not on my tour anymore. Yeah. You
Oh,
tell
cool.
it.
Yeah,
You
please
tell
tell us.
It's been a while. Okay. It's been a minute. Let's see. Gosh, all I know is that it was the 4th floor, right? It used to have 4 stories. This building used to have 4 stories, and a lot of the big businessmen would go to the 4th floor and conduct their business and things like that. And during the Great Storm of 1900, everybody went to higher ground naturally, you know. So everybody went to the 4th floor, and, well, the hurricane shook the building so much, it collapsed the 4th floor, killing everybody on top.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Of all things. And so there's a spirit there that is not very nice at all. And people who have worked there, it's now the 3rd floor. The spirit moved down a floor. People who worked would despise to go to the 3rd floor in fear of this spirit locking the door, shutting the door, locking the door, and throwing things at them, shutting the light off and all that. And
the reason I don't do that story anymore is because there's people that are there now, and I don't know if they want me there or not. So I have to just be a gentleman about it, and I have to just, you know. But I have enough stories anyway without all that.
Wow.
So I'm just saying. That's why I don't do it anymore. But it's a very good story. It's a very good story.
Oh, wow.
well,
what are some of the? I mean, what are
Cohn.
Yeah, I was going to say, what are some of the things that he's supposed to have done, or that he does, or that they know that it's him?
He's supposed to. Go ahead, Brian.
No, I don't recall.
Oh, you don't recall? You don't recall?
Oh, yeah. He was a guy that would dress up real nice and all that stuff, right?
Yeah. He would dress up nice, and he would. His name was Robert Cohn, and he had a fine apparel warehouse there. He had a fine apparel warehouse, and he was seen, but he died, and we don't know exactly how he died.
Major OCD.
Yeah, he had OCD.
Just obsessed with making sure everything's in order. Yeah. And when it became a military store, he became really upset that everything was askew.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Right. That was his.
He could walk and he could step on the cracks, but he didn't want to make his arms back, so he didn't,
Oh,
he didn't
my.
do that too much. So it just had a little bit of a, you know.
But there's charming spirits there, you know, like Daniel Brister, you know, who's really a lady killer, you know, and he messes with the guys to be silly, but I only had one experience with him, with Daniel, and and he was just messing with me, like you said, you know, he just messes with the guys and, you know, make sure all the girls are protected. But I went into the restroom at that one place, and I was drying my hands, and I was about to open the door, and I heard the knock at the door, and I'm like, I'm coming out. Just wait. It was a knock, open the door. It was real quick like that. Knock, knock. Open the door, and nobody was there. I was like, there you are, buddy. Cool.
Well, that lady that was there before us, she saw him several times. She saw him. Complete, total. He was totally dressed, and Daniel Brister was a young police officer in his 20. He must have been about 25 or 26 or something like that. Anyway, he died in the building, and he died in the building because he was fighting these two bandits that were trying to steal the driver's cargo, you know, his money.
Yeah.
And they were trying to take him, and he got one of them, but the one shot him, and then he got mad and chased the man to the beginning of that block where he caught him, got him down, drug him across the street to an empty police car, and that's when it happened. That's when he died after that. He died after that, But I'm sure you know that I say that a Texan is supposed to be shot with more than one bullet because the first one's just going to make us mad. That's what I say. Because
those are things I've heard.
Daniel got mad and chased him to the beginning of that block. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's how he died. But anyway.
Oh, Dash, I just need to interject in here that I do not think you look like Dog the Bounty Hunter.
Thank you. I
just wanted to throw that in at you.
Somebody that doesn't believe that. I don't.
Dog is dog ugly. Dash is Dash Beardsley, buddy.
That's right.
That's
Good job.
Thank you.
I don't even know who Dog the Bounty Hunter is. Well, okay, I've heard of him, but I've never seen him, so I'm not interested. Yeah.
Dash prefers Robert Plant if you're going to compare anyone.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
That came to my mind when I first saw him. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that came to mind. That comes to a lot of people's mind, I think.
Do you ever get stopped and have someone?
What you say?
Do you ever get stopped and have someone, can I have your autograph? And for like looking
Sometimes. Sometimes I do, and sometimes I just take it with a grain of salt. I just take it with a grain of salt. It's nice. It's a nice thing, but it's not the end all be all. It's okay. Yeah.
Well, hopefully they're asking you for your autograph because of you. They want Dash Beardsley's autograph.
Yeah.
Oh, he gets enough fan girls and fanboys all over him.
I'm sure.
Oh,
I'm sure.
Always wanted to take a picture with him.
Well.
Oh, come on! You get your own fan base.
Oh no, they love me. I'm not going to argue with that. That's fine.
Well,
go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, why don't we talk about, we were talking about fan base and everything else. So why don't we talk about your music, both of you?
Okay. What do you want to talk about?
Well,
Brian played with me before. I got to tell you that.
Do you have your own band, or is it just guys you kind of play with? I
kind of have just a group of people that I play with sometimes. Yeah, but I haven't played much in the last year. I just don't play as much as I used to because I don't know why. I just don't. I just haven't.
Sometimes you just need a little break and. Then all of a sudden we'll hit you again someday and say, I want to play some more, Yeah,
that's what's going to happen. I'm sure. But Brian's played with me before. Brian played bass with me before. He can play anything, though. He's a really good musician. He's a really good player.
Well, yeah, I know Brian's pretty busy with his, plays and everything. But do you get out there much, Brian, anymore with your...
Actually, yeah. I have done, a few albums and recorded them on the boat, with my personal recorder, and I have the guitar, bass, and electric drum kit and everything, so I could do that. But yeah, I played with Dash. He's fun to play with, and recently I played with the Crosstown Renegades. They're a blues classic rock band that does covers and things like that. And I play bass for them every once in a while. I just played for them at Lake Livingston at a YMCA benefit for disabled children and things like that. And there were some celebrities there, like part of the Harlem Globetrotters were there.
Wow. That's
it was
incredible.
Really cool. And the lady who funds the place, she does it personally. I can't remember her name right now, but she spent her own like $50,000 to $60,000 organizing the event, so all these kids could enjoy themselves.
Oh, that's pretty awesome.
And so this year, we played. We had a good time, and she made the announcement. I don't know if I can do this next year because I can't afford it. Blah blah blah. And within 5 minutes, somebody stood up. I'll give 10,000. Somebody said, I'll give 5,000. And then
that's awesome.
Within 10 minutes, she raised $45,000.
Wow.
And it was just lovely. And so it was a good cause. And playing with them at that show, it was really fun because all the kids were there. So we brought up extra instruments like a maracas and tambourine, and those of you who don't know what a cajon is just a box with a kind of a drum, snare drum inside, where you could sit on it and make different notes, with your hands hitting it, and so we brought those on stage. And I brought the cajon on stage. And you know why they call it a cajon? Because when you sit on it, you may sit on your cojones. Anyway, I don't know if that's true. Maybe it's because it's Spanish for box. I don't know. It's tomato. But I brought that cajon on stage, and kids said, "Ooh, a cajon!" And I said, "I know who's playing this first."
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, right.
Should play along with us.
Now I'm going to have to look up what a cajon is.
Cajon. Right.
But yeah,
you have
I do it every once.
Set of brass cajones.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, to be on this show.
That's right, by golly.
That's right.
Oh, so wrong. Yet so right.
Yeah, but no, I make a few songs here and there to add to the future album. My wife, and I'm not talking, but she plays, and so she contributed to a few songs. And I like to make music videos.
She plays what? What's she playing?
Videos and things like that.
You're breaking up.
I
Brian.
couldn't hear
Still
you. I
haven't
couldn't
heard.
hear you.
Yeah.
You're saying bongos?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I said you can find the music on YouTube, Brian Treybig YouTube, whatever.
Okay. Well, I'll look
Am I
it
still
up.
breaking up?
Man. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was one.
How fun. That's pretty awesome. But anyway, I guess
Well, I've recorded a thing that I don't know how to do these digital things. So I've recorded I've got a recording of if anybody out there can help me with this too, maybe call me or something. Anyway, but I recorded a version of Crossing Over that has a symphony in it and all that stuff. So
wow.
it's a real good. I don't know how to download it. I know how to get it right there and get it where it sounds good.
Oh,
and I
from
can hear it
from YouTube.
No, it's from a Tascam recorder to a CD.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
Yeah.
I can help you out with that. And what I usually do is use my recorder, and I just take a cable and I hook it up to the laptop and record it onto Audacity.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I just do there. And then burn a disc if I need to.
I got you. Okay, that's good. That's good.
Oh,
Well, anyway.
Yeah, anyway.
I'm writing. I've got some other songs written, but I just haven't finished them yet. I've got probably 500 songs written, but I
wow.
haven't finished them all. I just got an idea and I jotted it down. So. And then I still play cover music too. I still do a little bit of cover music. I still do, Delbert McClinton and guys like that. Zeppelin, stuff like that.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Man, I wish we knew where that sound was coming from with those voices.
Are
Now I'm hearing
either of you
voices
guys
in my
in the
head.
wind? Are either of you guys
Well,
out
if there's
in the wind?
anybody listening in, they can mute their microphone or something. I don't know. Unless it's me, like you said, it wasn't me.
we're just, like you said, we're just hearing some,
Yeah, it's not me. It's not
some
me.
ghostly voices.
I'm going to mute my microphone.
Quiet over here.
Still can hear it.
Good, how are you?
Well, sorry about that, everybody. But
I'm muting now.
nope, not you, Brian.
No, it's not you. It's not me.
It's the ghosts or the aliens, one or the other. But they're coming to visit us. But getting back to your tours, Wendy had come up with a question about, do you get many psychic mediums on the tours, or who want to be tour guides? And if so, what are their stories?
Well, I do get a lot of psychic mediums on the tour to be, and their stories are, their stories are different. They're very interesting stories, but I can't tell you one off the top of my head. But they wow, that noise stopped.
Yeah.
Didn't it? Quit.
How bizarre.
Okay. Anyway, they'll say that there's two kinds of psychics. There's the kind of psychic that's quiet, and there's the kind of psychic that's loud. And what I'm telling you is a lot of psychics are loud. They want to get their point across, and if you don't pay attention to it, then you're gonna get in trouble for that.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So.
Do you think? Are they pretty legitimate, the ones, or have you gotten some that you're just like, oh my gosh?
Well, I've gotten a few of those, but I've gotten mostly. I would say they're legitimate, but they're not doing it every day for a living, and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're legitimate. They try their best, try to be legitimate.
We usually get a lot of psychics on the ghost hunts when we do the ghost hunts, not the tours. And if they are on the tours, they don't really speak up or whatnot. But they're really low key. They're not extravagant. They don't get all up in your face, and they're not.
Well, that's good.
You've had better experiences than I have with them, because I always get the crap end of the stick.
I understand that.
I'm the face of the tour, so I always get people that are trying to one up you and stuff like that, and they get one up.
That's annoying, especially when
they want to.
It's for the people. It's not for you personally.
No, it's not.
Psychics, they can't read a crowd.
Yeah, that's pretty sad.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, they can't read a crowd. But I'm just telling you. I haven't had as much luck with them as you have. But generally on the ghost hunts, they are better. They seem to be a little better, because they seem to be more where they understand, what's going on and stuff.
It's real beautiful. If we're in tune, we're all psychic. We really are, and part of that is not really, it's kind of, there's a fine line of listening to the angels and being psychic, and a lot of people just don't want to tap into it.
I keep hearing, people say, it's like everybody's a little psychic. But, if I had that intuition inside me, I wouldn't have made the stupidest choices. I keep thinking that.
Well, but June, you might have had that intuition inside of you, but you didn't listen to it.
Could be.
Yeah,
could be. I was just like, what do I know?
Shut up. No, you shut up. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just going to get married anyway. It's going to be wonderful. Never mind.
Gosh, no, I understand. It's a very, it's a wet. Is that a good description? It's a wet trait. You know, you don't know. It's spongy. It's spongy. That's what I'm trying to get. Is that, you know, it's the old saying. As soon as you try to measure it, the outcome is different. And so as soon as you try to figure out the psychic sense, it goes away. It's like, no, you're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to know how it works, Dave. You know, that's just how it is. As soon as you try to question it, it messes up. But if you just let it go and let it flow, it works perfectly.
That is true.
Gosh, it's so hard. As a scientist, it's really frustrating to me.
Yeah. I know a lot of people say that too. If things feel like, I mean, they're going kind of smoothly, but then all of a sudden you start getting, you know, all these obstacles in your way, it's like maybe you started veering off the wrong path. And but when you're on the right path, you know, things seem to be not too bad. Start going smoothly.
I'm sorry. I hit the wrong button.
That's okay. I'm glad I saw the little notice saying, call me back.
Yes.
Did you go down the wrong path, Dash?
Yeah. I went down the wrong path. I'm not too good at this internet thing. I'm just learning it. I'm getting better at it.
Yes, you are. Every minute.
Go ahead. I was going to. Cindy in the chat room is calling the wet spongy effect tangible evasive.
Okay.
Yeah, and Jacob's saying it's the Force. Just may the Force be with you.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
When the Force is strong, things are going well.
That's right.
When you let the Force kind of go, it's like that's when things go to crap.
There are a few constants that are really cool. If you do good things do come to you. You don't look for it. I mean, you don't do it for that reason, and then it works.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you know,
that's
you
so
just
true.
do it selflessly, it works. That's a constant. That is very nice.
Oh yeah.
The other constant is where was I getting at? Where was I going? See, the other constant is that I will forget what I was going to say. So there you go.
That happens. It happens to all of us, actually.
You don't know how many times that happened to me today. I even jumped out of my seat to run and do something that I needed to do really quick, and I was like, okay, what was I doing that was so important that I had to jump out of my seat and run someplace? And I'm like right in the middle of the floor going, what in the world? And then I went and sat back down and never remembered it. So I'm sure I went to go save somebody that was, you know, falling down a well or something, and I totally forgot about him.
Got it. I got it now. It's that if when bad things happen to you, know that it's not a bad thing, that it could be preventing you from getting into a worse situation.
Oh, that's true. I don't know how many times I've had to tell myself that when something I really wanted to happen didn't happen. And then I say, you know, this probably might be a good thing down the road. And sure enough, a lot of times it's so true. You're just like, wow, thank God that didn't happen, or this never would have happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
That's right. That's true.
I know. I can't say anything bad. I mean, as of right now, I have a wonderful wife. I have great people around me. You know, just like you guys asking for me to be on the show and all that stuff. All this stuff is happening, okay? So if I didn't make all...
What happened to
you?
you?
Got really quiet. I don't know. Hello, Brian? I see your face on the on the screen, but
yeah, we see your face.
It was a great message. and then he died.
Oh well.
Damn.
He died. Oh, that's cool.
It's really sad.
I'm not there anymore?
No, now
You
you're
are.
back.
You're there. You're there.
You have
back.
arisen.
Yeah.
Okay.
You were getting to
Dad,
the really
you're trying to be like me, aren't you?
Yes, you're getting to a really profound part, and then you just dropped.
Yeah, the sound dropped completely.
See? Learn your lesson, kids.
Yeah.
So true. That's awesome.
No, what I was saying is that throughout everything, you know, I have my beautiful wife and all these great friends and everything, but if I didn't make those horrible decisions in my life to get me to where I am now, then what the hell? Were they horrible decisions?
It never probably would have brought you to this pathway, and there, look where you ended up. I believe that. Believe me. And you think about all these times, it's like there's like one little decision that happened that you made, and then that's what took you to this where you're at now. Or maybe there was a whole bunch of little decisions. But, I keep thinking about, all this, like I had met this one person, and he said, hey, would you like to help this other guy, start a paranormal group? And I was like, well, sure, I'll help. And then that just led me to this whole other world. And I just think if I hadn't have met this guy at this one place, my life would be totally different right now. And I just thank God that, that did happen. So, So what about you guys? I mean, did you like have one of those little moments where it just kind of led you, led you to start,
I know exactly
everything.
I know exactly what happened. I was working at one of those places that you really wish you could work at, and you get the job and it's like, oh man, this sucks.
Yes, I have been there.
So it was the fun shop where they sell costumes and theater makeup and things like that. And I go there and I think I'm gonna just inspire and all this stuff. No, it was a crap job, only because there was a guy there that was so horrible, that was younger than me, thinking that he knew more than me, who didn't even give me a chance. So I'm like, okay, all right, I have to deal with this kid thinking I'm a dumbass, and that's really horrible. So anyway, I'm working there, and this is before I was doing theater or any of this stuff, and a director came in, and she says, do you guys sell like time bombs, prop bombs, like that? And I said, well, what, like with a clock and dynamite, something like that? She goes, yeah. I said, oh, just get a wooden dowel, cut it in 6 pieces, paint them red, and get a dollar store clock, get some wire and tape it with electrical tape, and it'll look great. And she goes, will you build that for me? I said, oh, okay. It's for a play? And she goes, yeah. Do you act? And I'm like, well, I think so. And she goes, well, why don't you build it and come audition for my play? And I said, okay. And so ever since that moment, I've been in 20-something productions. I've got an agent. I've got all these shows under my belt because of that one moment.
And he's good, too.
Yeah.
I do say this on myself. He's good. He's really good.
Thanks, man.
I'm just saying, you are really good.
I hope someday we could see you in person when you're on stage.
Oh, that'd be cool.
You never know. I like to travel all over the place.
Well, you girls have always been awesome. And if you ever make a trip to Galveston, come on now.
I think we should plan that, Miss Wendy.
I think so.
I think we should plan a trip to Galveston because honestly, I never really gave Galveston a second thought. And then all of a sudden I started watching all these.
Well, that's because you're so far away.
I know. But then I started watching all these amazing videos and everything else. I was like, wow, this place looks amazing. I have got to go there. So you can count on it.
Well, y'all have to come down. I think you were asking how me and Brian got together, weren't you? Asking that?
Oh yeah.
Well, I think it happened from that conversation we had. Do you think so, Brian?
Oh yeah, in that 4-hour conversation, it was like, oh, I know this. Yeah. This is going to be awesome.
That's so cool. I love it when you have that connection.
We had a great conversation. Well, it lasted 4 years, so it was one of the saddest days of my life, I have to say, when I had to let you go, man. Or I had to turn you loose because you were going to do something else.
Well, I just, and I was honest with you. And, if you get burnt out on something, saying the same stuff over and over, you don't want to give a bad tour. It's like doing the same play over and over again for 4 years.
Yeah.
You're
It's like I used to sing for a lot of weddings. I mean, I sang for weddings constantly, and
That's
then
what
after
Zach Baggins did. That's what Zach Baggins.
oh, he was a
did.
DJ actually.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was a wedding singer.
Wedding
I think.
DJ. Yeah, he was a wedding singer.
Yeah,
and a wedding DJ.
singer. Yeah.
So,
Oh gosh, that's right, huh?
but yeah, that's the same thing happened to me. I was going to so many, and it actually happened kind of not too long after my divorce. And I was sitting up at the front row or the front of the church after these people, after I finished singing, and these people were giving their vows to each other of, oh, I'll always love you, blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden I went, I just take this big sigh and I rolled my eyes, and I was in the front. I was in the front of the church, and I went, oh God. And I didn't mean to. It was just kind of a reaction. And then I thought, something? That's it. No more weddings for me. That's just terrible. I don't want to ruin somebody's perfect day because I'm like, oh, me.
Wow, Jim.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I suck sometimes.
You guys
That's
forget
pretty bad.
I gotta give my wife a kiss goodnight before I continue.
You better, just because. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's neat.
No, I just got back to the boat. I'm gonna give my wife a kiss goodnight, and I'll be right back.
Okay.
Okey-doke. We'll be right here.
Okay.
Well, Dash, why don't you tell us a lot more how people get a hold of you and everything else? And
Okay.
Okay.
They can get a hold of me through. That's the wrong number on my phone. If anybody have called it, it's 832-241-2623, and I'm going to change that, or I'm going to get that number, one of the two. So I have to do that anyway. But you can also find me at Ghost Tours of Galveston Island, and you can find that number there. Ghost Tours of Galveston Island.com. That's how you find it. And the number is 832-892-7419. That's the number.
And
that's my number.
That's all on the website, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Very good. And you're on Facebook a lot, too, and the Ghost Tours of Galveston as well.
Well, that's really Brian on Facebook. I think it's because it's not me. I'm learning Facebook, but I'm far from learning it. I've far from got it down, but I'm learning it. So it's pretty good in that way. So, anyway, did you have any other questions you want to ask me?
Not that I can think of, but do you have anything else you'd like to share? Got a
good
ghost story or something?
Let me think of a good ghost story.
Okay.
A good ghost story.
Or a bad ghost story.
Or a bad ghost story.
I always love to hear about those bad ghosts.
You are going to a brothel shortly.
Yeah, woohoo!
Yeah.
My favorite place to investigate are brothels. I love investigating brothels. I become a crazy madam.
Do you guys remember the book Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and they made a movie of the series or whatever?
Yes. Actually, I just kind of watched it.
How was it?
I can't remember. I know I watched it the other night.
Was there a story about a dog licking the woman's hand, going up the stairs, or something like that?
Oh man.
Damn, my mom used to tell me
I know a good ghost story. I know a good ghost story.
See it.
All right. Tell us, buddy. Tell us.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll tell you about Harry, my dog.
Okay.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Well, at the
Harry.
time I was living with him, and the little boy came to me and he said, Harry's dead. And I said, Harry's not dead. I said, Harry can't be dead. So he was dead, all right. He had his eyes were glassed over, and he had the little spittle coming out of his mouth, and he was dead. So we prayed for him, and we prayed that he would rise again, and he did. He rose again from the dead. From the dead. And he licked us on the face, and that was really weird. And he, and then the vet said, "Don't let this happen again. Don't let this happen again. Don't raise him from the dead, because if you do, you're just prolonging the agony." So I went to the vet, and I thought the part about him raising from the dead was pretty good. But anyway, so I went to the vet, and he injected him, and he died. So that's
Aww.
it. That's the end of the story.
Oh, man.
It's kind of sad.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to bring a bummer up to y'all. I'm trying to say, Harry was a good dog. Harry was a good dog. Yeah, the most impressive thing I found was that a minister asked a little girl, he said to her, why do you think animals live a shorter life than we do? She said, because they know how to love us right from the beginning.
Aww.
That's pretty good. That's
true.
Pretty
They don't have a lot of lessons to learn. They already know it when they get here.
Yep, they already know it. Yep. Has anybody seen A Dog Story?
No,
Or a dog?
I can't watch anything like that, because I know something tragic's going to happen, and I'm going to be.
Oh yeah, it was horrible, but it was good. It was good.
That first one, right?
The first one.
Yeah, it's about a dog who's being reincarnated several times.
Right. Yeah, I saw it. I made myself watch it, sit through it.
Yeah,
and it was really pretty good.
Was it?
It was.
It
was. I saw it 3 nights ago, or something like that. Yeah, it was very interesting. Anyway, there's my ghost story. So now you have it.
What about you, Brian?
A ghost story. Okay. You may have heard this story. But back when I was doing the tours, and one of the psychics said, you have a little girl, following you around. I'm like, okay, that's fine. They all follow me around. Mm-hmm. And so I go back home to the boat, and it's a houseboat at the time. And I've got guitar amps and guitars and things like that. And my wife at the time was knitting a blanket with yarn and things. And she had the ball of yarn and part of the blanket on top of the microwave. It's a houseboat, so it's like, everything's kind of a little compact.
Right.
Well, I wake up in the morning, and I see that her yarn was strung across the room, around my guitar, and then back around the room, underneath the amplifier, underneath the heavy amplifier, back across the room through the window shades, the blinds, and then back over on the floor. And I saw this, and I said, oh, this is amazing. And I said, I'm not touching this. I'm going to wait till my wife gets home. And she comes home, and I say, look at this. And she goes, why did you do that? No, I didn't do that. No, I got bored, honey. Just,
just string everything around.
Honey. But anyway, no, I said, no, I didn't do that. But, I think maybe something followed me home. And she said, whoever you brought home, you better get rid of. And I said, oh, man, come on. They're not hurting anything. And I said, all right. I said, whoever's here, let's leave it in Galveston, like an affair or something. Let's keep it in But,
yeah.
And so after that, nothing ever happened. And when we got a divorce, I was like, come back. Not her, but the ghost.
Yeah, so the ghost, please. Aww.
Yeah.
Sweet.
There's a playful.
That's a good story, man. That's a real good story.
Yeah.
I love it. So, Brian, why don't you tell a little how people can get a hold of you, if they want to get a hold of you?
Okay, all you have to do is type my name, Brian Treybig, Brian Treybig, Treybig. You type that name into the old Google, and you'll find everything you ever wanted to know about Brian Treybig.
And probably things you didn't want to know, too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Check the records, check them, and then get back to me so I can find out.
Yeah, I'll say, guess what I found out?
Oh, good.
And you know what? You can do the same thing. You can do the same thing with Dash Beardsley. I'm just saying.
Betcha.
Just saying.
Mhm.
Awesome.
Yeah. That's on YouTube. You can find it there, and you can find it at Google too. So I'm just saying. Excuse me. Go ahead, please.
Oh, that's cool. That's it. No, that's how you can contact me. It's a Gmail. It's a YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, fart knockers, whatever they have nowadays.
Fart knockers. I can't even say that. Well, guys, thank you so much for being on our show tonight. We really had fun. Thank you.
Yes. It was a great
Thank
show.
you.
You guys did great. Sure.
Sorry I was late.
Thanks for having me.
That's okay. It worked out really good, actually. It's like Dash was the whole first hour, and you were, the second hour, too. So it
That's fine.
worked out great.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. You girls have always been awesome, and I miss listening to your voices. It's been great.
Thank you. Thank you, Brian. Sorry. Or should I say, thank you, Brian?
Oh, please don't. All right,
Wendy, who do we have on the show?
Brian. Well, no, wait.
Sorry, go ahead.
Brian,
Okay.
when does your show start?
Oh, yeah, that's good. Yeah. Let us know
Oh,
when your
Mamma
show is.
Mia. Mamma Mia start at on July 5th of this year at ETC Theater in Galveston. It's going to be a great show. This was our second rehearsal, and we just started singing, and everybody sounds great. I got a few songs that I've been playing on guitar to practice because I play guitar on stage and sing a little bit.
Oh, fun.
But yeah, it's going to be fun. You guys check it out.
Yeah.
Wish we could.
You'll have to get Christina to go in and record it. And
Yeah,
Ah.
secretly recorded.
Yeah, sure, secretly. Yeah, I understand.
Mhm.
Just release
Oh,
it to us, no one else.
There will be plenty of pictures, okay? And I'm sure they'll have a promotional video or something to
Oh, wonderful.
help us. That's
Alrighty.
cool.
Awesome. Well, break a
Have a
leg.
good night, you guys. Thank you so much for having me.
You too.
And
thank
Brian,
you. Mhm.
too.
Well,
You
Yeah,
betcha.
Brian.
You may be seeing us sometime soon. You never know.
You just never
Okay.
know. Hmm.
Yeah, you better.
Sounds good. Sounds good. I'd love to have you.
Yep.
Take care of yourselves.
You know you get
Okay.
a free tour out of it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
woohoo!
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Our cemetery is looking gorgeous right now. All the yellow dandelions are out there. It's just
Pretty.
beautiful right now. Yeah.
Well, dandelions are beautiful too.
Mm-hmm.
In a cemetery.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, they are.
It's
All right,
food.
just-
Yeah. All right, kids.
Take care of yourselves. Bye.
All right, you too.
Good night.
Buddy.
All righty. Well, we want to thank Carly with who owns Crimson
Yes.
Cloak Publishing,
Thank
for
you
letting
so
us be on
much.
her network and doing these fun shows. Next week, tell the audience about next week, June.
Well, if I had next week up, that'd even be better. So hold on a second. I'm sorry. I was like, as soon as you said that, I was like, whoops. Let's see here. Yes, we are going to have.
The Yates.
Is the Yates family? Oh, Jay and Marie Yates, the family Yates. And they're going to have some amazing stories. Yeah, they have a lot of experiences. They've been on a lot of the ghost shows and a lot of conferences, too. So they're really cool to listen to. They have some really great stories, and I think you'll really enjoy that. So please join us next week.
Awesome. Please do. And we've got more great shows lined up. I haven't gotten all of them up and ready to go yet, but I will shortly, and it's going to be great.
Yeah, we've got some good ones coming up. So, yeah, please join us is this Wednesday? Yes, every Wednesday night.
Oh, and starting June 20th, we will be having uh, Paranormal Pioneers with Ross Allison once a month, and that'll be June 20th at 7 p.m. Pacific.
Yeah, I think everyone's going to enjoy that.
I think so,
Very
too.
cool show.
All right, well, how about if I take us out with the little five-finger death punch, Blue on Black, cover of Kenny Wayne Shepherd's song. It's a pretty good one.
Cool.
All right,
That sounds
all.
great.
Have a great week
Okay.
and weekend, and we will talk to you next week.
Yes, good night, everybody.
And that's all, folks.